everybody. I'm Justin Beck.
And I'm Chris Cobb.
And welcome to The Closing, your top news in commercial real estate from the past week. Several tasty morsels of the best CRE news that happened over the past few days to send you off into your weekend and get you excited to start the next week. Okay, some fantastic news from Target as they are evolving in this retail landscape that's ever changing. They announced their first small format store is going to be in downtown Denver. Now, they have about 25 stores in Denver, and some of them are over 100,000 square feet. This one is only going to be about 26,000 square feet. They're trying to compete with Amazon. They're trying to become more accessible to the urban environment, and I think it's really going to work. Chris, what do you think?
I think so too. From the millennials' perspective, a lot of millennials, being one myself, in their 30s are staying in the city, they're staying in the urban environment. They don't have access to a car or to public transportation to take them to some of these locations that might be outside of the city. So having access to that within the city is a great way to keep millennials and that generation involved in shopping at Target. Some interesting news out of New York City. One of its most storied landmarks and hotels, the Plaza Hotel, which sits at the southeast corner of Central Park, is going to sell in June for $600 million. Staggering number. The Plaza Hotel has been an icon of New York ever since its inception 111 years ago. It's appeared in movies such as Home Alone, North by Northwest, and has seen the home to many foreign dignitaries. So this is a new chapter in the Plaza Hotel's history. Justin, what's your thoughts and what's your take on this new chapter for the Plaza Hotel?
Yeah, I mean, the Plaza Hotel is obviously one of the most famous buildings in New York City. It ranks right up there with the GM building as far as storied histories. This is closing a chapter for a building that has gone through a lot in the last several years. Through the recession, big plans that did not work out. Now it's trading hands again. So there's no doubt it's going to continue to be one of the best buildings, the most iconic buildings in New York City. And I'm sure that the new buyers are going to have some great plans for it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Amazon, which employs 45,000 people in the city of Seattle, has halted construction on their Rainier Square building as the city decides on a new head tax for high-grossing businesses. Now, Justin, what do you think Amazon's trying to do here?
I think this is just another example of Amazon trying to throw their weight around. Same as it goes with the second headquarter proposal, and they've had all these cities pandering to them. There's no doubt they're a 800-pound gorilla. They're a fantastic company, and they're driving incredible value for their shareholders. But at some point, you've got to say enough is enough. If you're the city of Seattle, you call their bluff. That's what I think at some point you got to do. Now, I'm the last guy in the world that wants higher taxes, but it's really tough when you've got one monstrously large company looming so largely over a city like Seattle.
Very interesting. To fight blight, cities are putting in microbrewery districts for their planning and development. Now, Justin, we've seen a couple breweries come into Pensacola the last couple of years here, Gulf Coast Brewery and Perfect Plain on Garden Street. Do you think this type of development and planning for city districts to revamp them is a good thing or a bad thing for a city?
I think it's very creative. I'm a little bit nervous about regulating what goes where. I would rather see a market-driven development. Now, you've seen in Pensacola, we've had these breweries and they're doing fantastic, but it's been market-driven. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea and creative, like you said as well. As far as planning certain districts, I feel like in a tertiary market like Pensacola, I feel it's not going to be a good thing, and you're going to have that type of demand for people that are going to come in and say, yes, I want to put my brewery in this microbrewery district. And I don't think incentives are going to be offered that are going to be enough people to want to do that. I think you just have to have a couple of good locations and let people choose. I don't think there's enough demand for us to be able to do something like that.
Well, I agree too. And then a diversity of a neighborhood, several breweries in one single district. I don't know if that works. Having one brewery in each neighborhood, that's supplying a lot more for that community than clustering them in one area.
And I think that creates more opportunities for bar hopping events, more 5Ks, maybe brewery to brewery, and it gives exposure to new neighborhoods. Maybe now someone can explore East Hill now if they've never been there, or explore Northville. I think that could be a good opportunity for the community.
That's a good point. In Pensacola, we're extremely lucky. We've got a great ambassador for golf in Bubba Watson. But unfortunately, several places in Florida, specifically South Florida, are not that way. And the result has been golf courses closing at a somewhat alarming rate. USA Today, Florida has reported that over the past 5 years, $100 million in lost revenue has occurred on some of these golf courses. So what's happening to them? They're building multifamily projects. They're building housing developments on that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this, I'll go back to the millennial example. I think millennials are not joining private golf courses, especially, like Justin was saying, in here, especially in Pensacola, we're very fortunate to have really good public golf courses that are at our disposal. Other states, they really don't have that, and it's very tough for someone to join, especially a millennial, to join those golf courses. And multifamily is good for Florida because millennials are more likely to live in multifamily, and so are the retirement communities. As the baby boomers get older, they're downsizing and maybe moving into multifamily units.
I still love it. I always say that real estate is one of the most entrepreneurial businesses in the world, and that it's full of creative and smart people. And this is another example when things change, real estate people get involved and they create better places. So hopefully that's what's happening in South Florida, and hopefully we don't see too much of that happening up here in Pensacola, because we do have those great courses.
We do, and I hope they don't go away, but I do love the creativity, like you said, in our industry. If something's not working, repurpose it, find the best and highest, the highest and best use for it. I think it's a great creative example of that.
Well, there you have it, everybody. This week's closing, the top news in commercial real estate. Several really cool things happening across the U.S. We talked about the iconic Plaza Hotel. We talked about the 800-pound gorilla Amazon. We talked about little tiny Target stores in Denver. And we even talked about breweries. Lots of exciting stuff going on. We hope to see you back here next week on The Closing.